CUPRA just revealed the Raval across 16 cities on the same day. 4 meters long from €26,000, built in Barcelona on the MEB Plus platform that Volkswagen and Skoda will share, but that CUPRA engineered first. The small electric car segment has a new price anchor. What the interior delivers at that figure is in the verdict. The Raval is the sharpest looking car in this segment, and it earns that from more than just color options. A shark nose front end with triangular matrix LED headlights that genuinely look like eyes, and they animate when you unlock the car. The bonnet line drops low and tight, pulling the visual center of gravity down before you even reach the doors. Flush illuminated door handles sit tight against the body, feeding air along sculpted side panels toward a full-width rear light bar with three-dimensional effects and a rimless illuminated CUPRA logo. At the rear, a prominent diffuser with vertical stripes gives the car a stance that reads more performance hatch than city car. CUPRA dropped the chassis 15 mm below the platform default and widened the track by 10, which explains why the Raval looks planted at a standstill in a way that the Renault 5 and the ID Polo do not. In plasma, the launch color, the body shifts from cyan through indigo to rose depending on the light, the first iridescent paint CUPRA has ever offered. Matte finishes in manganese and century bronze sit alongside it in a 7-color palette, and up to 8 alloy wheel designs from 17 to 19 inches round out a customization range most cars at twice this price cannot match. The proportions make this 4-meter car look wider and lower than the numbers suggest. I did not expect a car in this segment to hold this kind of visual presence on a show floor. What the cabin does with that same €26,000 starting figure is next. The interior makes one argument immediately. This does not feel like a €26,000 cabin. A 12.9-inch infotainment screen running Android for the first time on a CUPRA sits high on the dashboard beside a 10.25-inch digital instrument cluster. Both are crisp, responsive, and a visible step up from the current CUPRA range. The graphics look like they belong in a car from the segment above. The steering wheel has physical buttons and satellite controls for driving modes, plus regenerative braking paddles behind the rim. After years of the Volkswagen Group forcing haptic sliders on its customers, CUPRA put real controls back where your thumbs land. That single decision earns more trust than the rest of the dashboard combined. A suspended center console floats above a storage tray underneath, keeping the cabin open and airy despite the compact footprint. Dynamic light projections cast animated patterns onto the door panels from projectors hidden in the dash. It sounds unnecessary until you see it in a dim car park and realize it replaces the dead plastic panel most small cars leave you staring at. The ambient lighting offers 7 selectable environments, each with color and animation profiles. A 12-speaker Sennheiser system rated at 475 watts is available, and I can confirm that in a cabin this size, that system fills the space without distortion. The honest negative: touch sliders remain for climate control. In a car that fixes every other interface problem the Volkswagen Group has had for the past 3 years, those sliders feel like the one compromise that survived from the parts bin. I noticed them immediately, and so will you. You sit down and the seat options tell you how seriously CUPRA took this cabin. 4 interior configurations are available. The entry pulse trim gets sport seats with 100% recycled fabric. Step up to the immersive interior, and you get electrically adjustable bucket seats and Dynamica microfiber with memory function. The Feel interior swaps to vegan leather. At the top, the Ahead Pack introduces cup bucket seats with full 3-dimensional knitted upholstery, manufactured on demand from 100% recycled material. That knitting technique reduces waste and allows more design freedom than traditional cut and sew. There are also 3-dimensional printed elements on the dashboard in the Ahead Pack, a production technique I have not seen at this price point before. The driving position sits you low enough that the car feels smaller from inside than it looks from outside, which is the right trade for a car that wants to be driven, not parked. A 6-footer behind another 6-footer gets roughly an inch of spare legroom in the rear, more than the Renault 5 or the Alpine A290 can offer. Headroom is adequate. The flat floor helps with foot space, and rear passengers get their own climate zone. A dedicated climate zone in a car under 4 meters long at this price is not something you expect to find. The rear bench is clearly not an afterthought. 441 liters of boot space, around 15.6 cubic feet. For context, that is over 100 liters more than the Renault 5 and the Alpine A290, which share a 326-liter boot. A height-adjustable floor keeps the load area flat when you fold the rear seats. No high-voltage components sit under the rear of the car, so the full depth is usable. A pushchair, a weekly shop, and a weekend bag fit without reorganizing your life. The way CUPRA achieved that figure is by keeping the entire rear free of battery and motor hardware, a packaging decision made possible by the front-wheel drive layout and the cell-to-pack battery design that sits flat under the cabin. 155 kilowatts in the endurance version, around 210 horsepower, with up to 450 kilometers of WLTP range, roughly 280 miles. The VZ pushes to 166 kilowatts, 226 horsepower, 290 newton meters, and a 0 to 100 time of 6.8 seconds with a top speed of 175 kilometers per hour. That puts the VZ alongside the Alpine A290 as a proper electric hot hatch, except the Raval adds an electronic slip differential, DCC Sport adaptive suspension with 5% additional rigidity, wider 235mm tires on 19-inch wheels, and an ESC off mode. The 52 kWh NMC battery charges from 10 to 80% in 24 minutes via DC fast charging at up to 105 kilowatts. The smaller 37 kWh LFP battery in the entry models charges in 23 minutes, but is limited to 50 or 88 kilowatts depending on trim. One-pedal driving brings the car to a complete stop, and the brake pedal uses a new integrated one-box system that early reviewers have already called the best in the Volkswagen Group's electric lineup. How 450 WLTP kilometers translates to a real European winter is the figure CUPRA has not published yet. Prototype testers suggest around 350 to 400 kilometers in mild conditions for the Endurance, and closer to 320 for the VZ. That gap between lab and road is the number to watch. 26,000 euros. The Renault 5 starts in the same territory but climbs past 33,000 with options. The Alpine A290, the direct performance rival to the VZ, costs considerably more. The Volkswagen ID Polo will share this platform and undercut the Raval by a small margin, but without the lowered sport chassis, the wider track, the progressive steering, or the adaptive dampers that come standard on every single Raval, regardless of trim. That is the argument this car is making. Not that it is cheap, that every car built on this platform was engineered by CUPRA in Barcelona first, and the Volkswagen and Skoda versions receive what remains after CUPRA has taken the best chassis setup for itself. Adaptive suspension, disc brakes on all four corners, the electronic slip differential on the VZ. Nothing else at this price offers any of it. Whether the ownership experience, the dealer network across Europe, and the residual values can match what Renault and Volkswagen already have is the question this car cannot answer on a show stand. That answer arrives 12 months from now. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button and subscribe for more content just like this. Leave a comment below with your thoughts or questions. I read every single one. And don't forget to click the bell icon to get notified about my next upload. See you in the next video.